Tonight, Queenslanders fight back against power price gouging.
China lifts bans on Australian beef exports.
2 men arrested after guns were seized in Gladstone.
And excitement builds for the Rocky Show.
This is 7 News with Brough and Joanne Desmond.
And thanks for joining us.
Good evening.
2 state-owned power generators are being accused of inflating wholesale electricity prices to boost their profits. As Michael Hammond reports, it's now the subject of a class action.
Stanwell and CS Energy control about 70% of the electricity dispatched across the state. This class action alleges that over a 7-year period, they created an artificial scarcity of supply, which enabled them to jack up power prices. The price per megawatt hour allegedly blowing out from $70 to $13,000 in a 5-minute period. According to the claim, the retail energy providers were then slugged more, and in turn, Queensland homes and businesses were too.
Well, at the relevant period, Queensland electricity prices were the highest in Australia and probably among the highest in the OECD.
We own the power generation, we own the means of distributing it, we own what we feed into it to produce the power. We want a fair price for our electricity.
Both companies are vowing to fight the class action, with Stanwell calling the claims false, misleading and clearly opportunistic. This case could lead to compensation for 2 million Queenslanders. It heads to the federal court next week.
Thank you, Michael. Good news for the beef industry today after China removed a trade barrier on 8 exporters. Minister for Agriculture, Senator Watt, says the bans were lifted with immediate effect.
Trade impediments imposed by China during the former government's tenure resulted in a $20.6 billion reduction in exports.
Senator Watt says the lifting of bans by China has already had a positive economic impact of $11 billion on Australian industries, including barley, cotton, wine and coal.
Small businesses are getting a financial boost to invest in security. $3 million in state government funding will be on offer to build resilience from cyber security to engine immobilisers. But the opposition claims it's a smokescreen.
The average cost of a cybersecurity crime on a small business could exceed $50,000. Now, the state government have announced grants of $5,000 to help prevent them from falling victim altogether.
And through this grants program, small businesses will be able to boost their operations, productivity. They'll also be able to boost both their online and real world security.
It's a $3 million addition to the Business Basics Resilience Program, which is a $250 million package set to last until 2027.
And people have until the 11th of June to be able to jump online. You need to be a Queensland small business.
The money could be used for all security measures, from alarm systems and CCTV installations through to engine immobilisers.
But what I think everyone's forgot about is the small end of town and the critical importance of small business being able to keep their cybersecurity details intact, their customers, their money.
But the LNP says more needs to be done to help small businesses.
Youth crime crisis, electricity prices, the housing crisis, these are all impacting small and family business.
Christina Pooljak, 7 News.
2 men have been arrested and charged after an investigation into firearm-related incidents in South Gladstone. Police went to a house on Agnes Street around 4 p.m. on Monday and allegedly found drugs including GHB and methamphetamine. Officers say they also located 2 handguns, a knife, ammunition and suspected stolen licence plates. The men are in custody and will face Gladstone Court on June 25.
Australian Border Force and Federal Police have seized thousands of litres of a dangerous date rape drug in raids right across the country. There were more than 4,000 litres of the substance concealed in bottles of baby oil and essence, and it's being exploited by predators.
Well, a joint operation carried out between the Australian Federal Police and Border Force has seen thousands of litres of a dangerous chemical taken off the streets. Butanediol, or Bute as it's known on the streets, is being used as a date rape drug, with federal authorities seeing a growing number of cases used in the Australian drug market. That is why they have acted. They carried out a number of raids right around the country, focusing in though on Western Sydney, where there's been more than 4,000 litres of butanediol seized and then taken out of the hands of criminals. On top of this, they've come down hard when it comes to jail time. Anyone found to be illegally importing it into the country will now face a life sentence behind bars.
The consequences of importing Bute into Australia are serious, because the harm done to Australians is significant and can be life-changing.
Now, the issue with butanediol is that it also has a legitimate function. It is used to create plastic. That's why intelligence agencies have been working tirelessly in the background to try and determine who has been importing it into the country legally and for a valid reason, and who hasn't. It's believed large-scale overseas criminal networks have been bringing it into the country. This will now put a dent into their operation, trying to tap into a lucrative Australian drug market. Police also say that they've seen an alarming spike in the number of sexual assault cases, which they believe are linked to Bute.
The state government is tipping in to make sure no child goes to school hungry. $15 million will be spent to provide free breakfasts and lunches where families are doing it tough.
As the cost of living continues to rise, so do the number of families struggling to make ends meet.
As a former high school teacher, I know what a difference it makes when children are well fed, when they've got their full bellies and that they're able to concentrate in a classroom for the duration of the day.
Stephen Miles went back to school today, delivering a multi-million-dollar pledge for those doing it tough and worried about how they're going to feed their families.
Whether it's through a school lunch or a school breakfast, or whether it's buying from the tuck shop, we are increasing the number of healthy options for them.
It will provide $15 million for the school and community food relief program.
This funding's designed to support those school communities who work so hard to deliver healthy, nutritious meal to their school children.
Another $68 million will be shared across 277 state schools to upgrade playgrounds and tuck shops.
From those free meals to healthier options for tuck shops to playgrounds, so that children in all our schools have a way of playing and exercising and being physically active. It's all about health and well-being of our young people.
Frank Russo, 7 News.
Mining giant BHP has walked away from negotiations to take over 5 Anglo-American coking coal mines in the Bowen Basin. The Australian company offered $74 billion, but it was rejected. BHP's chief executive says we were unable to reach agreement with Anglo-American on our specific views in respect of South African regulatory risk and cost.
Almost time for the country to come to the city for this year's Rockhampton show. Organisers are promising a feast for the senses, from horse riding comms to cattle and Sideshow Alley. It all gets underway on June 12.
Heading into its 151st year, hot on the heels of Beef 2024, the Rocky Show is back.
It's not just for the locals. We get a lot of rural people that come in from around the region to enjoy our show. That's why it's been so successful for 151 years.
Last year we saw almost 30,000 visitation through the gates across those 3 days.
There's something for everyone who'll be able to discover some old favourites, including the popular duck and pig races, to learning how to work with bees.
We've got trick horse riding, we've got show jumping, we've got commercial cattle judging, we've got stud cattle judging.
The 3-day event is expected to provide a financial boost, particularly to the hospitality and retail sectors.
It fills our hotels and our restaurants and our cafes and just makes the town buzz again for those 3 days.
And if you're looking to score a bargain, head to the Rocky Show pop-up store at Stocklands, opposite EB Games, to buy discounted tickets until Sunday.
Children tickets are $4, then they'll raise to $5. Adult tickets are currently $8, then they'll raise to $10. And of course, those really popular family tickets for 2 adults and 2 children are currently $20, and then they'll raise to $25.
Christian Penny, 7 News.
It's always lots of fun. Well, ahead tonight, what's on around our region this weekend?
And the countdown begins for Masters athletes to conquer the tropics.
Stream 7 News anywhere, anytime, live and on demand on 7plus. And with 7news.com.au, you'll know the news now.
Nice having you with us here on 7 News. There's some good news for drivers between Rockhampton and Yeppoon with the reopening of the old Byfield Road. It's been realigned to improve safety and hopefully reduce crashes. Their entire Yeppoon Road project is expected to be finished by mid-2025, adding 5.6 kilometres of new road and intersections. Drivers are being reminded to observe changing traffic conditions.
Well, the countdown is on with 1 year to go until the 7th edition of the Great Barrier Reef Masters Games. 6 new sports, including pickleball, have already been locked in.
In 12 months, Cairns' courts, fields and pitches will be full of action for the Great Barrier Reef Masters Games. The event providing sporting opportunities and a major boost to the local economy.
Last time in 2023 we had 4,500 competitors, which was great, and that saw almost 4 million pumped into our local economy.
Along for the ride this year is Ambassador Ashley Brazel, an AFLW star and Commonwealth Games gold medal winning netballer.
I think for me, I still think of myself as a young 18-year-old throwing the ball around, but I actually could compete as a master, which is scary.
20 sports are already locked in, including new additions like pickleball, futsal and wakeboarding, and it's hoped more inclusions are on the way.
Sport for all, from young all the way up to parents like me, I think is so important because it's a place you can just be you, have fun and get out and throw a ball around.
Keen competitors are invited to register their interest now on the Games website. James Ingram, 7 News.
Well, let's have a look now what's happening around our region for the next few days with Brad Villiers.
Thanks, guys. Plenty happening around the region, from mini train rides to Sunday markets to musical spectaculars at the Pilbeam. Let's take a look now at what's on this weekend in CQ. Sunday is Fun Day at the Fig Tree Markets in Yeppoon. Browse the multitude of stalls selling handmade, locally designed, home-baked and homegrown products. The markets kick off at Merv Park at 7 a.m. Melsa Rockhampton Train Rides in the Park is holding its next public running on Sunday from 9 a.m. Ride behind a steam engine or a model diesel locomotive. It's fun for all ages. Come and ride at Leichhardt Park on the corner of Cambridge and Kent Streets. And the Rockhampton Grammar School's Music Festival will hit the stage at the Pilbeam Theatre on Saturday night. The festival will feature captivating performances from soloists and ensembles, including the mass choir, jazz and concert bands. Head to seeitlive.com.au for tickets. And if you've got an event coming up, we want to know about it. Email newscq@7.com.au. Hope you have a great weekend and we'll catch you again next Thursday.
Great, thanks for that, Brad. Plenty happening. Plenty happening in sport as well.
We've got a Rocky Cyclone who can't wait to get back on the court, mate, eh?
Big time, Broughy. The Darwin Salties held Lauren Hurd to her lowest score of the season on the weekend. But Saturday is the rematch at Brough Arena. We'll have more on that next. And look who's back training with the Maroons as Queensland has an opposed session with a Q Cup side. And welcome back. Well, Queensland fans will love this. Harry Grant was back on the training paddock this afternoon with a Queensland hooker over the stomach bug that sidelined him earlier this week. The Yeppoon product took part in the opposed session against coach Billy Slater's ex-Q Cup side, the Norths Devils, in a key hit-out for the side, and teammates were glad to see him back.
Yeah, no, he's all sweet now. He's running around having a laugh, so it's good.
The Maroons will continue their preparations on the Gold Coast before heading to Sydney early next week, all ahead of Game 1 on Wednesday night. Rocky Cyclone Lauren Hurd is confident she can have a match-winning influence on her side this Saturday against Darwin after a rare off night in the NBL 1 North. The Star Guard was held to just 9 points by the Salties last weekend, but can quickly turn that around in the rematch at Brough Arena.
Earlier this week, the coach called it the Cyclones' worst loss in 2 years. But thankfully, the team won't have to wait long to face the Salties again.
It's so ideal. It's like any time in any team, any level, anytime a team beats you, you want to like play them back the next game. And the fact that we get that is super exciting. It's just like every competitor's dream.
This time it's on rocky turf at Brough Arena. And the team knows exactly what they need to do to improve.
Just a lot of tidying up who we are, getting back to who we are. A lot of times we focus on our opponents, but when you have such a great team like us, it's just best to just tidy up what we need to tidy up, get back to our true identity.
Hurd knows that herself and fellow American Sam Bowman will need to be more influential this time around. The pair were held to just 13 points between them in the heavy defeat.
We do have our bread and butter as far as like what we do to the game, but we're also not one-dimensional. And I think both of us can just tap in a little more into what we call our bag, get into different options and just play with more energy.
Meanwhile, the Rockets are gunning for 5 straight when they also take on Darwin again. They're just hoping it won't go down to the wire like last weekend's 2-point thriller.
We're great to be back at home in front of the best crowd in the league, and we're really looking forward to packing this place out on Saturday night and obviously giving them the Rocky welcome.
Brad Villiers, 7 News.
And there's racing at Callaghan Park tomorrow. Here now with his best bets, it's our resident expert, Russell Leonard.
Yeah, that's right, Spurling. Callaghan Park racing tomorrow for the Rockhampton Jockey Club. Only a smallish program, 6 races set down for decision. The track's in great order. Real early start though, 10:47 as we blend into the twilight meeting at the Sunshine Coast. Winners are what we need. I think there's 2 good gambles on the program, so let's profile my best bets for tomorrow's card. Early mail specials, and we kick off in race number 2. Hero Like, team number 1 in Rumbling Boy. Lee comes up a very good second last start behind Played. I do think he'll go one better here and break through for his maiden winning. Warwick Satherley does the riding for the Raven Moorzecker Yard with Rumbling Boy. Then to race 4, Hero Like the Toppy again and Desert Kobe. Well, he's building a real reputation for himself, this fellow. He's 3 from 5. He's a last start winner. I do think he'll go back-to-back. And Huxtable reunites to the Green Yard with Desert Kobe. Oh, there they are, punters. My good things, Sir Rocky. Rumbling Boy and Desert Kobe. You stick with them and you'll start the weekend with a pocket full of cash. Bet responsibly. Good luck, good punting, and I'll catch you all at the track tomorrow.
Good on you, Russell. You get back to your stable work now, and that's it for sport tonight. Thanks very much, guys.
Lovely. Thank you, Nath.
And stay with us after the break. Livio joins us with all the weather details, while Scotty has our fishing report as well.
Good evening, Livio Regano with tonight's weather. Showers fell more or less uniformly across Queensland today, but from tomorrow the 2 halves of the state will take on different trajectories. Northern Queensland should start to clear, while southern areas prepare for a rainy weekend. 26 degrees the top in Rockhampton today after a low this morning of 16. Certainly a mild night, and other stations followed basically the same trend. To the satellite loop now. Firstly, around the coast and ranges, it's just speckled cloud, if you like, producing the odd shower here and there. Nothing heavy, apart from those usual falls on the Cassowary coast. More importantly now, the big cloud band linked to an upper level trough in front, which you'll see in a moment. Moving across central Australia, it's already rained over the red centre, which is unusual, of course, and that will be moving across Queensland over coming days, peaking in rainfall over southern Queensland on Saturday. Today's chart, the main high has now finally moved offshore. There's a little bit left behind. Wouldn't worry too much that. East coast winds haven't changed too much, but inland winds have now shifted to the north, and we got that cold front and upper trough bringing the cloud in from behind. Tomorrow's chart, in the tropics, the isobars start to spread apart. That'll reduce the strength of the trade winds, which in turn will reduce the showers. But in the south, the opposite happens because this trough moves into New South Wales, increasing cloud cover and showers. Then on the outlook chart, this is the peak of the rain activity, genuine rain over southern Queensland, with the upper trough and front right on top. So the latest now from BOM, the boating forecast for Capricornia waters, easterly winds between 10 and 20 knots tomorrow. Saturday, northwest to northeast 10 to 15. Then Sunday we got that northwest to southwesterly change. Tomorrow's the half moon neap tide, which happens twice in a lunar month or about once every 2 weeks. It's a time when there's minimal ocean movement and tidal variation. The Capricornia district, some inland fog and showers possible in the south. Gladstone 26 degrees, Rocky 26 as well, Billawheeler 27, Yeppoon 25, Central Highlands and Coalfields could be a shower on the Carnarvons, Emerald 13 up to 28 degrees, same top for Claremont, Moranbah 29. Looking ahead for Rockhampton, Monday next week we'll see a fairly abrupt switch to colder nights and brighter days in the wake of that strong front. Some showers possible ahead of the change. Let's finish tonight with a lovely photo of a double rainbow, symbol of hope, as rainbows most often occur during the clearance phase of a rain event. You'll notice the colours of the outside rainbow are the reverse of the inside one. Thanks John Kesby for that photo, taken from Sunshine Beach. A splendid evening one and all. Here's Scotty with the fishing report.
Yeah, good on you, Livio. Looks like that weather's going to play the part for the weekend. Light winds forecast, so the boaties should get a chance to sneak offshore. I can report the pelagic action has been going great guns with plenty of tuna and mackerel about. Here's a couple of tips. Now, there's nice run in the tide, so heading out and chasing a few fish for those keen to chase mackerel, along with tuna, that early morning tide change will be the go. Look for your bait areas with a bit of current and troll with your liveys, whole gar along with hard-bodied lures. Now, for the smaller mackerel species, casting slugs along with plackies into the feeding fish has been working a treat. Also expect a couple of tuna mixed in with them. Both longtail and mac tuna are still feeding really well. There's really good sweet lip also up in the shallower parts of the reef with a couple of cracking big coral trout taking liveys mixed in with them. Strip bait's also working pretty well. Back in those rivers and creeks, the flathead have been going gangbusters with plenty being caught on both baits along with small 3 to 5 inch soft plackies. Now check this out. Keen young angler Jamison Blake nailed this lovely flathead out of his secret flatty hole recently. Good on you, Jamison. Now look, if you're chasing more outdoor action, make sure you join myself and Olivia Dean Saturday 5:30 for Creek to Coast. We are on a caravanning adventure into northern New South Wales. It's one not to miss. Good luck if you hit the water over the weekend. See you next week.
Great, thanks for that, Scotty. And that's all from us for tonight. Thanks for your company.
And of course, anything you'd like to watch again, try our 7plus app or our page 7news.com.au. See you tomorrow night. Good night.
Good night.